in the day, 10:44 p.m. to be precise, and see how Shujaa performs in Las Vegas, if they are going to qualify for the finals or not. That match will be at 10:44 p.m. So let's shift gears. Let's move away from Las Vegas Sevens. Let's get into some football action. We go into the Kenya Premier League, and goals from Vincent Wasambo and Erica Paito got Kariobangi Sharks back to winning ways after a 2-0 victory over Chemelil Sugar in a Kenya Premier League match that was played at the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi. Wasambo gave Sharks the lead in the 62nd minute before last season's most valuable player, Erica Paito, doubled the lead 6 minutes later.
Kidogo defense. Timu yangu ya nyuma backline yangu kidogo lilala. Anake nilikuwa nishaziba kuanzia kipindi cha kwanza, nilijua tu wanatumia sana mipira ya nje pembeni. Na nikaweza nikaweka ukuta mzuri pembeni. So kuja nafikiri sijui nini kimetokea.
Ni muhimu kwa timu kwa maana labda tumesonga hatua moja. Tumeingia tano bora naweza sema. Mechi yenyewe ilikuwa rahisi, nafikiria Chemelil kuzuia walikuwa wamejipanga vyema zaidi. Na mechi zao mingi ukiziangalia wanacheza vyema. Labda ile bidii wachezaji wametia kipindi cha pili ndio kimezaa matunda.
Kariobangi Sharks getting a 2-0 win against Chemelil Sugar Kenya Premier League match that was played at the Kasarani Stadium yesterday. Of course, we want to take a quick look at the results from the other matches that were played yesterday in the Kenya Premier League before taking a look at the fixtures that we have for the Kenya Premier League this afternoon. But before we go into that, of course, the panel that I have here in studio, I want to know from Ronald Okoth, Kariobangi Sharks versus Chemelil 2-0. Did you expect that?
I think going into the first half, I think the game was still at 0-0. But coming to the second half, I think it's the resilience that Kariobangi Sharks has. Because if you look at the way Kariobangi Sharks, they like to play, they like to knock the ball around. Plus, there's a lot of rotation in that team, especially in the midfield. So I think coming to the second half, compared to a team like Chemelil, Chemelil also has a lot of good players, but most of them, you know, are inexperienced.
Yes.
They signed a lot of young boys straight from the school. So basically, I think trying to catch up with the tempo of the game in the second half, I think took toll on them. And I think that's why Kariobangi Sharks took advantage of that and scored those 2 goals. But having said that, I think it was a good match. And going to the future, what I can only say is teams like Chemelil, Kariobangi Sharks, I think those are the teams to watch, because most of them, they are now recruiting young lads into the team. And maybe into in the next 2 or 3 years, I think we will be seeing some new powerhouses in the Kenyan football.
Salim Waziri, Erica Paito coming back from an injury, came back from an injury a few weeks ago, netting yesterday. You know, how big of a confidence booster is that for him?
Bearing in mind, Robinson, he has been in the silence for quite a long time, and he has proven why he was given the MVP last season. And when you watch him play, Robinson, he's something special. And for me, as Ronnie is saying, if you look at the mean age of the teams like Kariobangi Sharks, Mathare, it's around 22 years. That means like the coaching staff there is deciding to invest in the youthful talent. And I think for me, coming in the coming seasons, I think Kariobangi Sharks will be a force to reckon with, because they are top class when you watch them play.
Yes, Ronnie.
Yes, plus Rob, I think something must be looked at. There's this jinx of MVP. When you win it in the previous season, the next season you just lost. So I think maybe it's been something that has been recurring. If you look at in the past, the guys who have been winning the MVP coming to the next season, I think they've been fading off. So probably...
But for him, it's because he's been out of action for a while because of an injury.
No problem. Even the others were out because of injury. So maybe something needs to be looked at.
It's a jinx.
It's a jinx. It's not because of the injury, it's because of a jinx.
I suspect so.
You suspect so. Of course, we take a look at the other results from the matches that were played yesterday. Now, Ronnie,
Yeah.
Of course, we begin with the FC Leopards getting a 1-0 win against
Mount Kenya.
Sony Sugar yesterday at Bukungu. FC Leopards getting back to winning ways. What does that show? Are they going to survive relegation? Let's start there.
It's they really need it, because a team like FC Leopards fighting at the bottom of the table, I think it was causing a lot of alarm, and I think it was much needed, that win against Sony Sugar, even though I think it was a scrappy win according to me, because Sony Sugar, they fought tooth and nail until the end, and beating a team, finding your way back into the winning ways against a team like Sony Sugar is a very good morale booster, because Sony Sugar is not just any other team. It's a team with very good players in it. So I think they will be building on that, even though to me I think fighting, being at the bottom half of the table and fighting relegation is always a tough situation. I remember we were there with Madare some time back, and it's always difficult. When you win your match, the team above you also wins the match. If you draw, the team above you draw. So I think they'll have to really work hard in order to maybe try and pull themselves after that bottom half of the table.
Salim Waziri, Bandari settling for a barren draw against Mathare United. They are now the top two teams that we have in the country. Of course, Gor Mahia has 2 games in hand. Bandari, the top team, with 32 points, followed by Mathare with 30. What do you make of the barren draw between the two?
It was bound to happen, Robinson, because it was going to be a cagey affair, because both they are table toppers, and when you're up there and you're playing against a team that is in the same position, you don't want to lose points against them. But then again, if you could have a chance to watch the highlights, the chances were found in between. There was not so much about the match, because everyone went there to just get a point out of the game and go back home at least with a point. Because if you lose and you're table topping, Robinson, you bet your life on it, you're in big trouble.
Of course, let's take a quick look at the other results. Of course, Kariobangi Sharks 2-0 win against Chemil Sugar. Yesterday, Kakamega Homeboys 6-0 win against Mount Kenya United, and Western Steamer settling for 1-all draw against Vihiga United. Nzoia Sugar getting a 1-0 win against Tusker FC. Now we have 2 matches on the cards this afternoon.